Hi, I'm Nick, and welcome to Inktober day number 28. I kind of feel like I'm in like a safari with this shirt on, but oh well. For today's artwork, we're going to be drawing kind of like a blended leaf wheat kind of artwork. Basically, a lot of artists do this kind of style where they blend in leaf colors and they blend in like a certain kind of leaf pattern. Anyway, I think it would be a great exercise for me to brush up on some that's a bad pun. To brush up on some watercolor techniques and develop my skill in it. So let's get into the sketch. Alrighty, so for this artwork, we're going to be doing it in real time again. For the leaves, we're going to be doing them painting them each different shades of green, and it should create like a really cool layering kind of effect. Especially if I start off with the lightest ones and then go to the darker shades at the back. So let's get into it. We're using some leftover watercolors paints from some other artworks, which I'll show you there, those two. So no mixing needed to do on this one. So let's start with the lightest one, which should be here. And we're just going to do that single color. And this is relatively easy, there's nothing really to do but paint here. We might have to do a few different layers of this really light green for it to really show up and shine. It sounded pretty lame, but to really stand out, yeah. I don't know how I can make that not sound so lame, but it is. So it can outshine the other leaves. Whoops, I missed it. I'm always so lazy with watercoloring. I just kind of like rush it and then I miss, I don't know. I just miss the lines. I'm horrible. Especially like on real-time video, it's very stressful, which art should not be. So don't start up a YouTube art channel, I guess, that's what I'm trying to say, if you want unstressful art. So it's looking pretty good so far. The color's not too bad actually. It looks pretty nice. Alright. So we're nearly halfway through the leaf now. And looking pretty good. So using a small leaf here is just better because I can not miss the lines very easily. But I have already, so I kind of failed at that pretty bad. So don't fail as an artist. So much advice in this episode. And I'm just painting leaves. Leave me alone. I don't know why I said that, but whatevs. Alright, so it's looking pretty good, so I don't think I have to kind of do another layer. I think I'm pretty set there. I'm not doing anything more, I just add in these. That bit really quickly. Oh, I missed some there. I missed some around the edges there too. Alright, whoop, and I missed a bit there. I suck, man. Alright, so let's go on to the next leaf, which I'm going to do in a slightly darker, slightly darker green, or more vivid green, should I say. Oops, there, this one here. Alright, so let's mix that up and start with that. So this is a really cool green. Out of all the greens that I have on my watercolor kits, which I only have 2 cheap ones. Now, wait, I have 3. Alright, from my 3 cheap kits, this color is definitely my favorite. I like these kind of turquoise, uncommonly seen greens. I think this type of green is really uncommon to see on t-shirts, on logos and stuff, because it's kind of a hard color to print. It's not a very common ink color, so it's more expensive to print, which is why you don't see some more of these unseen tones of green in traditional media, I don't know, artworks, digital ones and stuff too. But it is by far the nicest green. I don't know, even I have a darker version of this one. They've just added in some black, which looks pretty cool too. Alright. Whoops, I keep missing the lines. I suck. With watercolor, it's not too much of an issue. If it's just a little bit, it's harder to really see. If it was ink or something, yeah, you would be able to see it, but with watercolors, any mistakes that you make, I think many people don't really get annoyed after mistakes with watercolor because it's such a messy and light kind of blend that you don't really notice mistakes as easily. Alright. Getting through it now, and still missing a little bit, but better than the last leaf. Alright. Getting through it. And I find that I make most of the mistakes when I'm like using the brush down low instead of up on top. You have more control from the top, but if you want to do bigger distances, if you put it down there, you cover more area, more surface area. So this is like a really simple kind of art style with watercolors, which is good for learning how to do it. And I'm still learning, so I can still do this kind of art, this art style. It's a good practice method, I reckon. So this kind of style that I'm doing at the moment, not blending the colors, just layering it in the background. There's one of my favorite artists is called Pepperin from DeviantArt. I'll leave a link in the description below. But I got that from this kind of style from her. So these two ones are drying, and just so I do the ones in the background, don't blend the colors in together too much, I'm going to leave it to dry, and then I'm going to start again. So I'll see you when it's dry in like 2 seconds. So this is now all dry, so we're going to add in the base color, which is going to be a slightly darker version of this. So let's start doing that now. So we'll start from the top in this case. So sometimes when you leave watercolors for a while, all the water evaporates out of them, and you're just left with kind of the paint. And you can't mix all of it in back together perfectly without any kind of texture or little paint, bits of paint flakes kind of thing in it. I'll see if I can zoom in and show you what I mean here. Whoops, that's a bit too far. So I'm not sure if you can see it, but there's lots of flakes in and around there, and it's a really cool texture that you get with it. But if you want something that's smooth, don't leave artworks don't leave watercolors too long. Keep adding water into them and mixing them in together. But for me, I like the look, so I keep it like that. So this color is actually looking pretty similar to this one here. So I might do a second layer of it just to darken it up later after I finish. But we'll review that after I finish and see if it's worth doing or not. Adding into these leaves as well. Make sure you don't mix up any leaves. Now I'm talking like this is a tutorial. It's kind of not like a tutorial, it's just showing you what I'm doing. I'm going to make sure I don't miss any leaves, I guess. I think that's with live drawings, it kind of turns into kind of a tutorial because I'm telling you everything I'm doing at every time. Like, alright, you want to breathe in and out while doing this artwork. Don't sue me if you get it, if you stop breathing. Well, I guess you can't really sue me if you stop breathing, but your family can. That's morbid. Alright. There we go. So if I didn't wait for that to dry on this bit here, it could have blended in together, which wouldn't have been good. Alright, so I'm definitely gonna have to do a second coat on this. So before I do a second coat on it, I'm going to let it dry again so I can do it. Alright, I'll see you when it dries then. So now that that's dry, I'm just going to add in a second coat of this. I'm going to speed it up because you've already seen me do it once, so let's do it. So now that that's all dry, let's add in the final color, which is here. And then we're done apart from the ink. Oh, that's an even darker color. I should have probably used that on this instead of that one. But, oh well. Shit happens. This is a nice color though too. I don't think it's ruined the effect doing this one, so I think we're still good. Still good here. It still looks nice. And at the end of the day, that's all that matters with art, isn't it? Actually no, at the end of the day you need to have fun. That was a very politically correct answer then. Getting in all the nooks and crannies on this artwork to make sure it looks good. So after I finish this final leaf, I'm going to let it dry, and then after that I'm going to use a Sharpie to ink the rest of the artwork and finish it in that way. And then it should look really good after that. I might go over the lines with some fine liner just to make it a little bit more sharper and nicer. This is definitely a cool style to do leaves in. I've done some other jungle leaves which would be cool to do in this kind of style as well when I have time to do it next time. Maybe after Inktober finishes I'll do something like that. This green looks really good, contrasted between the lighter green in front. I'm very happy with how this is turning out at the moment. It's great practice. Oh, I kind of lost the line. Oh wait, there it is. So if you try this kind of style as well, let me know how it goes. And maybe send me a picture on Facebook or something. My Facebook link is in the description below. So I'd like to see what you kind of came up with. Adding some Polynesian to this style would be cool too if I had the time, but unfortunately today I'm a bit limited on time. Be cool to make an artwork just out of this, and some Polynesian as well. So maybe that's something to do in the future for me. Let me know if you want to see something like that. Make a cool t-shirt I think too. Oh, that's a little leaf there. Oops, I haven't really been paying attention to the camera, so I hope I've been painting in view. Whoops. I'm sorry about that if I wasn't. That was my mistake. I'm still not used to painting in real time, sorry. Takes a bit of effort to remember where the camera is while painting and while also talking and breathing at the same time. Struggle with multitasking. Alright. I say alright a lot in these videos. I just noticed that then. Everything's alright. Alright, there we go. And I say there you go a lot as well. My go-to word in live drawings. And one last bit, one last stem and leaf, and then we're onto the inking. Actually, I might do some watercolor splashes before I do the inking, so I'll let that dry, and then I'll do the watercolor splashing as well. Alright, so now that it's dried, we can start applying the ink. So I'm going to use a Sharpie for this one, and I'm just going to outline all of the edges and then go over the edges with fine liner after that. So this is a pretty simple technique of just making everything look a little bit more bold. There's not much to it but following the lines. If you aren't that great at doing lines, just go slow until you can do it really fast. Yeah, I find that in summer, instead of winter, it's very hard doing lines because your hand is a little bit more sweaty and it kind of sticks to whatever you're doing, so you can't really glide across the paper. I know some artists like Thomas on Tube wears a glove when he draws, which stops smudges and also kind of probably helps your hand glide over the paper a little bit easier too. I should one day try that when I find a suitable drawing glove. But for now, it's winter still. Oh, not really winter, it's the beginnings of spring, but it hasn't really sprung yet, if you know what I mean. Whoops, I kind of screwed that leaf up a little bit in the shape, but oh well. I just remembered we didn't do watercolor splashes yet, so I kind of jumped the gun on the ink a little bit there. So I guess we'll do that in a sec after the Sharpie part is done, and then we'll splash on some ink and wait for that to dry again before we finish everything off. So it's pretty relaxing doing this kind of inking bits. Sometimes when you do an outline of an artwork, it will make it look worse, and sometimes it will make it look better. There's not really any specific formula to work out whether it does or doesn't. For my art, I just do outlines anyway, just because it's my style, and if it ends up looking worse, so be it. I think the only artwork that I've done in recent memory where I haven't done outlining was on my artwork of the Joker from the Suicide Squad, the Jared Leto version of it, which I'll show on screen now. Whoops, dropped my pen and got ink on my jumper. Yeah, so this one I didn't do any outlines on because I thought it would look better, and also because I did another version which I failed at, and I tried out the outline and it didn't work very well. Alright, so we're up to the last leaf here. Just making sure I don't accidentally outline the wrong thing, which often happens sometimes. That didn't make sense if I said often sometimes. Alright, last few leaves now. Alright, I put my watercolor paints away, so I'm going to grab them out again and we're going to do the splashes. Alright, let's get cracking on these splashes. So I'm just going to tap my my pinky on my index finger and nothing's coming out. Gotta do it a bit harder. There we go, now we got some splash action. Sometimes it's hard to get it to splash at all, but in this case we're doing alright. And we're going to do another colour. That one came out a lot easier, which you cannot expect when you start. Alright, another colour. I love doing this to my artworks. It just gives it a specific style that you don't often see anywhere else. And it's just a simple technique that I use that works really well. And we're just about done with that. Alright, done. From camera you can barely see it, but it makes a big difference in the look, I reckon. Alright, we're gonna let this dry and then I'm gonna show you the final image of it. Thanks for watching. I hope you have forgiven me for that terrible pun at the start of the video. That was actually an accident, but accidental puns are probably the best bad puns. Thanks for watching and goodbye for now, but not forever. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, Follow me on Instagram and like me on Facebook, or click to see a random video below. I'll catch you down the road.